Hi, Brad Browning here, breakup coach and author of the X Factor Guide. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to win back your ex simply by texting on your phone. I know, there's a lot more to winning your ex back than simply sending some text messages, but texting can be an extremely effective method of establishing rapport, trust, and attraction with your ex, if executed correctly. But if you have no idea what you're doing, then texting your ex can be a one-way ticket to staying single and looking desperate. So watch this video to the very end if you want to learn exactly how to text your ex back correctly. A lot of clients ask me, should I call or text my ex? Personally, I believe texting is a much safer way to communicate with your ex. It doesn't require you to have a full-blown face-to-face conversation, and it's extremely non-invasive. Your ex is free to reply to you whenever he or she wants, and you're able to reply to your ex's text whenever you want too. And this sort of dynamic allows you time to think about what to say before you actually have to say it. With most of the clients that I work with, I tell them that texting is usually the best route when communicating with their exes, but in some cases, texting may not be the right move. For instance, if you and your ex never texted one another during your relationship, it might be weird to all of a sudden start texting him or her. So keep that in mind before employing the tips that I reveal in this video. Now, before I get started with what to text your ex, I'm going to first teach you what not to do, so you know right off the bat what you absolutely should not do if you want to get your ex back through texting. And let me tell you, after coaching people for 10 years, I can say that the vast majority of people do commit these huge texting errors. And these mistakes can sometimes decimate any chance of rekindling a relationship with your ex. I always like the saying, when emotions run high, logic runs low. When you're reeling from a tough breakup, chances are you're not thinking clearly. You're heartbroken, desperate, depressed, and you're just not yourself. And most importantly, you're not thinking logically. And when logic goes out the window, people tend to send 3 different kinds of bad text messages. These are text messages that you might be guilty of, so it's important you listen closely to what I'm about to say. The first kind of bad text message people like to send their ex after a breakup is what I like to call the hate text. While venting can be therapeutic, saying mean things to your ex will ruin your chances of ever rebuilding a relationship with him or her. Pretty obvious, right? If you find yourself angry with your ex, then give yourself a moment to cool down before you pick up your phone. While being angry and emotional is completely normal for a person in your situation, it's wise not to act on these emotions if you want to win your ex back. I mean, what is your goal right now? To get in that one last shot at your ex? Or is it to win them back and make them love you again? Think about it this way. People tend to gravitate towards things that make them feel good, and if your ex associates negative feelings with you, the less likely it is that they'll feel attracted to you again, let alone talk to you. So take a chill pill, relax, and live to fight another day. Now, the second bad text, or bad text messages, I should say, are what I like to call spam texts. When emotions are running high and you're feeling desperate, all you want to do is just pick up your phone and start texting your ex non-stop. The problem is, nobody likes spam and nobody wants to talk to somebody who's frantic and desperate. Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's receiving 20 or 30 messages a day from someone you don't even want to talk to. Maybe you've even been there yourself. It's annoying, right? One client told me that he sent 67 text messages over the course of 2 days to his ex without getting a single reply. And needless to say, this man did not get his ex back. No surprise there. Now, the last texting no-no is the over-emotional text. These are texts that come across as extremely needy. Anything along the lines of, you broke my heart, or I don't think I can love another again. Stuff like that will kill any sort of attraction that your ex has for you. At the time, you might think that these text messages sound honest and sweet, but in reality, showing neediness to such a high degree will drive your ex far, far away. By sending any of these 3 text messages, you turn yourself into what I call the texting terrorist. You're forcing your ex to feel hurt and be annoyed by you, and in some cases, you'll even scare your ex off completely. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking right now. You're thinking, oh crap, I totally made all these texting mistakes. Am I screwed, or is there a chance of salvaging my situation? The quick answer is yes, there is a chance that you can recover from these mistakes, and there is a chance that you can get back on the road towards winning your ex back. But you'll have to follow my instructions very carefully. If you've committed some of these errors, then it's important to get your ex back to what I call emotional neutral. Right now, your ex is feeling annoyed or angered by your text messages, and rightfully so. So the next logical step is to remove all the negative feelings your ex has of you by sending a quick apology text and employing the no contact strategy. If this is the first video you've seen by me, the no contact strategy involves not contacting your ex for a certain period of time. You've probably seen some relationship gurus here on YouTube disagree with this tactic, but through my experience and research, the no contact strategy is absolutely necessary in most situations. Now, there are certain exceptions to this rule, but for the vast majority of you, no contact is a must. So if you've been sending any of these hurtful or desperate text messages, the quickest way to get your ex to rebound is to first send a quick apology text. Something quick and short. Say something along the lines of, sorry, I've been a bit emotional the past few days. Other things have been stressing me out on top of this breakup and I lashed out. Wishing you luck. And that's it. This text message accomplishes two things. You apologize to your ex and you give yourself an excuse for acting inappropriately. After you send this, you must engage in no contact for a period of at least 30 days. It doesn't matter if your ex texts you back or asks how you're doing, etc. When I say no contact, I really do mean no contact. So literally 0 text messages during this time. This is very important for several reasons. See, right now your ex thinks that you're chasing him or her. They think that they have all the power and that if they wanted to, they could have you back whenever they wanted. So what you need to do is take that power away from them so that they begin to start chasing you instead. For example, imagine your ex sends you a message 15 days into the no contact period and he or she gets no reply for several days. Your ex is going to start constantly checking his or her phone, waiting for a response. And this will make your ex emotional and he or she will wonder why you aren't replying. And this is exactly why no contact works so brilliantly. It turns the tables upside down and makes your ex want to talk to you. Of course, no contact is only a small step towards getting your ex back, but if you want to learn my full proven system, then just head over to breakupbrad.com and check out the full-length video on my website. That's www.breakupbrad.com, and I'll put the link again to that video in the description below. Now, a lot of men and women ask me, how long should my no contact period be? And the answer to that fully depends on the severity of your breakup. How much begging and pleading did you do directly after the breakup? Did you send angry text messages to him or her? Did you send any of the 3 so-called bad text messages that I described earlier? Ask yourself these questions and be honest with yourself. If you committed several of these errors and you know that your ex is annoyed or angry at you, you probably need to wait more than 30 days. In some cases, I recommend clients not contact their ex for 60 days or more. Again, it all depends on the specific situation. So let's fast forward this timeline and say that you've done everything perfectly. You quickly apologized, you engaged in no contact, and you do all the other things that I recommend in my X Factor Guide program. What now? How do you go from a no contact phase to having a positive conversation with your ex? And by the way, that is the goal right now. At this point in time, your only goal should be establish positive rapport with your ex. You're not going to make them fall madly in love with you again just by sending a few text messages. But building rapport is a crucial beginning point. So, what kind of text message should you be sending? In my X Factor Guide, I go through dozens of text messaging examples, but in this video, I'll just go through 3 different kinds of text messages that are sure to establish a good basis for reconnecting with your ex. Text number 1 is something that I like to call my big interest text message. Remember, nobody wants to receive super boring texts like hey or what's up. Not only do these lack purpose, but it doesn't make your ex feel any emotions at all. You want to send them something that makes them feel good and that has actual value. To let you know what I mean, let's jump into an example of a big interest text message. You could send your ex something like, hey, I just heard that the Foo Fighters are coming into town in June. Just remembered how much you love them. Hope everything's going well. And that's it. For now, this is all you need to text to eventually get things started and reconnect with your ex. Now, why does this text message work? Well, for one, you have a very clear purpose as to why you're texting your ex. You're not begging, you're not pleading or getting angry. You're simply letting him or her know about something that may be of a huge interest to them. And secondly, you're not forcing a conversation. You end the reply with, hope everything's going well. Your ex can reply to your text if they want, or they can simply ignore it. But if you did everything correctly up to this point, you should be getting a positive response from your ex. The second icebreaker text message is a little more advanced, so use it with caution. I call it my good reminder text message. The goal of this text message is to remind your ex of a positive experience you two shared while you were together without appearing awkward or weird. Let's jump into an example. You might say something like, hey, remember that amazing dinner we had on the corner of Yates and Blanchard Street? What was the name of that restaurant again? I want to take a friend there. Now, depending where you're at with your ex, this message can do wonders. In this particular text message, you're reminding your ex of the amazing dinner that you two shared together. And this is going to force your ex to think about that positive experience. Secondly, this text message is great because it incites a little bit of jealousy and mystery. So your ex might be thinking, who are you going to dinner with? Why? Again, this text message is extremely effective if you send it at the right time. If you feel like your ex is still a little annoyed by you, then sending this text message will only ensure that you won't get a response back. So wait on this one until you're at the right point. The third text message is one of my favorites. It's called the smile text. Now, this text message should only be used if you handled your breakup properly, as in you didn't beg or plead and you didn't get angry. Let's jump into an example, shall we? Say something like, I just stumbled upon my old copy of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and it made me think about you for the first time in a while. Just put a smile on my face. Then you can send a little happy face there. And again, like the last two messages, your text message has a purpose. You're trying to reel your ex in emotionally with something positive and interesting. You aren't trying to stir up any drama or set the world on fire. You're simply reconnecting and building rapport. Attraction, love, romance, etc. are all things that will come much later in the process. And again, if you want to learn the entire method of how to get your ex back to come back to you, just simply go over to my website, breakupbrad.com, and watch the free full video presentation on there. I promise you'll find it extremely helpful. Again, the URL is breakupbrad.com. Now, hopefully, if you've done everything correctly, your ex will respond to you in a positive way. But there are a few things you need to remember when you try to carry on a conversation with him or her via text. Rule number 1, put a delay in between all of your text messages. At this point, you'll want to appear as nonchalant as possible, and putting a solid delay in between text message replies can do just that. So instead of replying to his or her text messages right away, wait an hour or more. This will create some level of anticipation in your ex, and it'll also help remove any sort of desperate or needy sentiment that your ex still may have of you. Also, if you've just reconnected after the no contact period, then you should only be exchanging a few text messages a day. No more than 6 or 7 texts per day. That's a maximum. Rule number 2, keep your replies brief, but don't forget some basic principles. If you were to send huge, long, rambling text message, you might appear a little desperate for attention. So keep the text messages as short as possible, but not so short that you kill the conversation. Keep talking about things that interest your ex and ask honest questions. Rule number 3, never bring up any drama. Don't talk about your past relationship, don't ask who they're dating right now, and don't try to argue with your ex. The goal here is to remain positive so that your ex will want to meet up with you. So now that we've established some rules, how do you go from texting your ex to dating your ex? Well, first things first, you need to establish a quick meetup. No, you don't want to ask your ex out on a date or anything like that, but you want to have a quick coffee or hang out with your ex at some point. The best way to do this is to make sure you have a very good reason to want to see your ex. So for example, say you've been texting your ex back and forth for a few days and you want to finally take it to the next level and set up a coffee hangout. Don't just ask them to go out for coffee. This could set off alarm bells inside your ex's mind. You need to have an excuse to meet up with your ex. Let me jump right into an example text before I explain. You might say something like, by the way, I'm planning a trip to Portugal at the end of August, and I could really use some advice. I know you've been there, so it'd be awesome if you could give me a few pointers. Can we grab a quick coffee this Friday? I really appreciate it. And here's another example. You might say, I'm redesigning my living room, and I'm wondering if you could give me a few pointers. I know you've always been good with interior design stuff. Could we grab a quick 20-minute coffee? Something simple and straightforward like this is a perfect way to set the tone. You want to appear friendly for now. Any sort of flirting or suggestions of romance, they might scare off your ex. So for now, just set up a meeting. Once you learn how to do this, you'll be able to start pushing your ex's psychological hot buttons again and make them fall for you again by using my 3R system. The 3R system is what I teach in my X Factor guide. And it's a method that I've used to teach thousands of men and women how to win back the love of their lives. It's pretty simple and straightforward, and it will give you the very best chance to win your ex back for good. For more information on exactly how my 3R system works, simply head over to breakupbrad.com and check out the video presentation. Again, that's breakupbrad.com. Well, that's all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you've learned something in this video, but if you do have any questions or concerns, please feel free to comment below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.